The small community of Wekiwachi boasts a population of only a few dozen people year-round. One of the lucky residents is Jonathan Prout.
Neighborhood is like kind of out in the woods, but it's right on the Wekiwachi River. I mean, not a lot of houses go up for sale around here because it's so beautiful. So most of the people that are out here are, 60 and older.
And because Jonathan and his friends are so much younger, lifestyle differences pose a problem with the older neighbors.
They're not really hip to the new way of life, and they're not very open-minded. Cutting our damn jumping trees down.
And the differences between these two generations all come to the surface one sunny morning when Jonathan is out paddling past his neighbor's dock with two friends.
The girls that were on the paddleboard, one is a roommate and another one was just a friend, and I took them on a paddleboard ride, and when we went past the dude's house is when they were kissing.
But Jonathan sees the neighbor getting upset at the women locking lips.
When I seen him coming to his dock, he was starting to yell something. I told my friend to start to record.
I got a problem with you. I don't feel I don't get to take your problem dropping you. You control the car.
He's telling me that if I bring girls past his house kissing again, he's gonna whoop my ass.
You're not intimidating at all, buddy.
What makes matters worse is that Jonathan has never seen this man before today.
None of us had seen him. Like he literally, I think that was the first day that he was even at the house.
The new neighbor rolls up his sleeves and inches closer to the edge of his dock.
You better be ready for that house.
I wasn't surprised that he came out and yelled, but I was definitely surprised that he jumped in the river after me.
Oh my God. Oh, he's coming. Look, he's in the water, dude. What are you doing? Is this real?
But even when the neighbor jumps in to fight, Jonathan isn't taking the bait.
No, be up right now. I'm right here. Be up. Quit talking with your little ears.
The neighbor even makes fun of Jonathan's ears.
So I had cat ears on, and I wore them throughout the day. He thought that they were like not masculine, and that he was just picking on me about them.
You ain't gonna beat nothing. Yeah, you ain't beating.
But even as they yell at each other, Jonathan plans to stay nonviolent.
I was saying anything I could just keep him from coming close to me.
You come through here, man. I don't give a where you live. I live right there.
But as the neighbor closes in on his kayak, Jonathan's plans change.
I was feeling like I was gonna have to hurt him, to keep myself safe.
This is real life. We might have to call the police.
I had planned on making him eat the end of my paddle.
Yeah, boy. I'm gonna show you what a boy is.
So he should probably just chill and leave us alone.
I'm right here. I'm right here, brother.
The argument finally ends with Jonathan and his friends paddling away. But a new development occurs soon after.
So the next day after he came in the river after me, he decided that he didn't want no more issues with me. So him and I started talking after that, and he bought me a dinner.
Jonathan and his neighbor are able to put their differences aside to maintain peace.
When I go by there now, he waves and everything. We're cordial with each other.
But Jonathan has some advice for his other neighbors.
Mind your own business. It's really not, anyone's business what anyone else is doing unless they're hurting someone.
No, be up right now.
And basically, let neighbors do whatever floats their boat.
If they're not on your property and they're not hurting anyone, just leave them alone.
Oh my God, he's off in our backyard.
The woman recording this video is shocked to see her neighborhood gardener in her backyard with his pants down, touching himself.
What are you doing? What the are you doing? What the are you doing?
Nothing.
The man appears to be caught red-handed and apparently knows it.
Are you kidding me?
Sorry.
Are you kidding me?
Sorry.
You're sorry? You're going to jail.
No.
You're going to jail. How dare you? Get out of my yard.
Thankfully, the gardener wastes no time leaving the woman's property.
Get the out. Who the do you think you are doing that?
But she continues recording, hoping to get the gardener's license plate number for authorities.
Where Where's your car? Where the is your car?
The man flees on foot. But with the help of the homeowner's video, authorities apprehend the gardener and charge him with indecent exposure.
You're going to jail. How dare you?
Hopefully, for the residents of this Camarillo neighborhood, they will never be exposed to this gardener again.
You're going to jail. How dare you? Get out of my yard.
Donata Banks has been living in a family neighborhood with her husband Corey for 6 years. When new neighbors, 26-year-old Luvia, her husband Miguel, and their 3 daughters move in across the street, they soon become friends.
We actually just got along very well. We would sit out there and talk. They would offer beer to us, and we would get drinks out there with them.
We thought, oh, what a nice couple moving in. But the first thing out of the husband's mouth was, how well did we know their neighbors to the right of them? And we had to tell them we knew them pretty well, unfortunately.
According to Donata, the married couple who live near Luvia and her husband are problem neighbors.
They would accuse us of all kinds of things. She's shouting obscenities. Someone's working on my house. She's calling the police.
Soon after they move in, Luvia claims that the neighbors start making racist comments.
Go back to Mexico.
So Luvia starts recording.
I'm actually Mexican, so I have always been proud of it. My whole life, I lived here in Indianapolis. I never experienced racism against me. Purchasing the home was the worst decision of my life.
One evening, when Luvia is walking on what she thinks is her front yard, Luvia says the neighbor starts yelling at her.
Get off my property. Get your fat ass off my property.
I am on my property.
It turns out that the neighbors think that 2 feet of Luvia's yard belongs to them. And as Luvia and her family don't have a fence marking their boundary, it becomes a constant issue. One afternoon, the neighbor becomes angry that Luvia's husband is mowing the contested part of the yard.
Mexican's gonna be dead.
And she turns her attention to Luvia and Donata, who are sitting on Luvia's porch.
When she tells me I'm gonna wrap the water hose around your neck, I'm feeling terrified, I'm feeling scared.
You feel like nothing's safe anymore. So yeah, I was really scared.
The police are called several times, and they advise Luvia to put no trespassing signs on the strip of land she believes to be part of her yard.
My neighbor would remove the no trespassing signs and throw them on my driveway. We didn't have proof it was her, but it was obviously her.
A few months later, Donata is sitting outside her house, across the street, when she sees the other neighbor confronting Luvia and her husband. So, Donata starts recording.
Get that sign out of my yard, you piece of trash.
I just had a feeling that something was about to happen.
Suddenly, the neighbor marches toward Luvia and Miguel in a fury.
When she throws the sign at my husband, I can see the anger in her eyes, in my husband's eyes, and I don't know what's gonna happen next.
Touch me, I'll kill you.
Let her.
Calm
let
down.
her. Let her. Let her.
Calm down.
Let her. Let her.
Calm down.
Let her.
Hey.
Let her. No, let her.
trash.
Let her.
It was very shocking. I never thought it was ever going to get, physical. It was actually terrifying.
Call the police.
Hey.
I've already called the police.
Okay, let the police come out here.
This was supposed to be the best time of my life, being first-time homeowners, and it was just so horrible.
The neighbors, Donata and Corey, are watching from across the street, and when the angry neighbor notices, she turns on them too.
Go back in your house.
Do it.
And they are scared.
I am worried for my neighbor's safety, everyone's safety. We're in the fear on a daily of walking out to our house, to our car.
When the police arrive, the neighbor is arrested and charged with trespassing, battery, and assault. The charges are later dismissed. However, when the video goes viral, 20 other neighbors come forward and complain to the HOA that the neighbor also harassed them. After an investigation, the HOA asked the problem neighbors to sell. But it's Donata and the Fair Housing Center of Indiana who take the neighbor to court for racial discrimination.
It makes me very sad to think about how she made us feel. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
The neighbor loses the case and is ordered to pay total damages of $225,000 for harassment and taunting people based on their race and national origin.
I never let her see me cry. I let her pay for what she did, and she's going to pay.
When the new neighbors move in, they have no issue with the boundary line.
It felt like I could live in peace. My kid could go outside and play. So it just felt great. I mean, it just felt like a beautiful, normal home.
Now, all the neighbors enjoy cookouts and socializing with one another.
It's nice to have Donata and her husband as neighbors because they're always there for us. This incident brings the whole neighborhood together. So everybody's happy now.
In neighborhoods all across the country, nothing is as hotly contested as snagging a prime parking spot. Something that this St. Paul resident named Cynthia, seen in her glasses, learns as she cleans off her car after a recent snowstorm. Cynthia is parked in front of her neighbor's house, and the woman, who is off to work as a local security guard, is quick to confront her about it.
You continue to block this walkway, and come Monday, I'm gonna have you cited and towed.
Take your information, go back
Take my
inside.
information, I'll talk
You know
to every
what, the
cop in
police-
St. Paul, their personal friends.
You know-
There's a police department picture hanging on my living room.
Because of a recent storm, parking is limited, and Cynthia believes that she has every right to park here, especially since it's a public street. But the woman next door insists that parking in front of a walkway is illegal and unneighborly.
Stop blocking the walkway so we can get to our house! Why is that so hard for you to comprehend?
Why is this
It's a little bit of respect to leave this much walkway open so we can get to the front door.
Okay, I'm done with this.
I'm not on your side blocking your.
Not to be left out, the mother of the woman with the parking complaint chimes in.
I was laughing when you were talking to the cop.
Get in the house. I got this.
In an attempt to explain the situation, Cynthia approaches the mother in the red coat. Her neighbor gets between the pair to keep the peace, but then suddenly loses her cool.
I got absolutely no walk of my.
In a shocking move, the neighbor lifts the woman off her feet and pushes her to the ground, and then doubles down with a threat.
Don't you dare my family! You're with the wrong family! Go! Stay in the street if you're that threatened!
Alarmed by the altercation, nearby neighbors who are recording the entire ordeal call the cops. When the police arrive, they deliver Cynthia with the validation she needs. It is in fact legal for her to park in front of her neighbor's walkway. And while Cynthia decides not to press charges, she steers clear of her neighbor's spot in hopes her temper will finally cool.
You don't want to back up, I have the right to make you back up. Don't you dare my family! You're with the wrong family!
Oxfordshire, United Kingdom.
Bit of a slow day today, so I thought to myself, what have I not done in a long time? Piss my neighbour off.
This is Stuart, and he's in a long-standing prank war with his neighbor Des. And today, Stuart is on his way to antagonize him.
We had a load of crows come and nest in all the trees around us recently, and they are noisy. So what I'm going to do is use my electronic caller, because there's a crow in distress on there. And when you set that off, all the crows come down and mob it.
Stuart hopes that the crow's loud caws will infuriate his neighbor.
So hopefully I'll get all the crows to circle his house. But we shall see.
Stuart sneaks behind Des's house and places the electronic distress caller on the roof of his neighbor's shed.
Now I can safely piss him off from the safety of my own home. Look. Quality. See how long it takes before the crow starts circling.
Stuart doesn't have to wait long before the crows start surrounding Dez's home.
We've got a bloody audience now.
A little while later, he spots Dez in his backyard.
Oh, Dez is in his garden. I'm going to see if I can get any reaction out of him.
While Stuart records from his home, Dez checks out the distress caller and finally figures out what's going on. He's been pranked by his best buddy.
Stuart, you're a prick!
What's up, Dez?
While Dez is ticked off, it seems his wife finds the prank hysterical.
You're destroying everyone's peace, Dez.
You started again.
What? It was a bit quiet in the village, mate. Cheers, Dez.
Chicago, Illinois is a dog-eat-dog kind of city, and nobody knows that better than homeowner and electric engineer Matt Micah, who's called Chicago home his entire life.
My neighborhood is pretty population dense, very family oriented. It's a nice neighborhood. We have a lot of runners, families, nannies with kids. Unfortunately, as nice as my neighborhood here is, there's a ton of carjackings, shootings, and robberies. That's why I have so many cameras.
While working from his shop at home, Matt is able to keep an eye on his entire neighborhood. One thing he familiarizes himself with is his neighbor and her very large dog.
Every time I went out, I was very careful. And I'm like, all right, this lady ain't gonna be able to control that dog, and that dog decides to go that way.
One day, while Matt is working at home, he notices in one of his camera feeds his neighbor taking her dog out for a walk and a jogger heading right towards them.
The runner was 20 feet away from the dog running toward the dog, and you can clearly see that the neighbor could not control that dog. He's running toward the dog, and the dog's already bucking like a bull.
Suddenly, the neighbor's dog manages to get off leash and immediately goes after the runner.
That's a small girl. The dog weighs more than the girl does. That dog's gonna go boom and come right out and go after the person.
The disorderly dog tries to bite the runner over and over. And when it becomes evident the neighbor isn't going to gain control of the dog, the runner makes a quick and desperate move.
I think his decision for jumping on the fence was probably the best bet. One thing that a lot of people don't think about is that dogs do not give up unless they're incapacitated. The outcome could have been pretty bad if he decided to take the dog on.
But just because the runner's safe doesn't mean the rest of the neighborhood is. Unable to reach the runner, the dog sets its sights on an older couple.
I was sort of scared that the dog was going to go and attack the lady and the guy getting out of the car. And then after that, yet again, go after the guy that was carrying like a grocery bag. Finally, the girl, got him under control. And I was just like, man, I've been telling this girl forever about this dog. This day was going to come. And here it was.
Matt heads outside to check on the runner, who thankfully only has a few scratches.
I saw the guy and, told him to come down and stay in my yard and just do whatever he has to do. I basically just went back to work. A few hours later, the police showed up.
After getting the full picture, the police write Matt's neighbor a ticket for having the dog off leash, and everyone goes their separate ways. Even though they all escaped the incident without serious injuries, Matt still thinks his camera footage contains a valuable lesson should a neighbor find themselves in a similar situation.
It could have been completely avoided if the runner just would have paid attention. Because if he would have just slowed down, let the dog calm down, he could have walked past the dog and just kept on running. The whole situation could have been avoided.